Alright guys, we're back out here in the garage with the 750 IL. We're kind of already started on the project because we wanted to hurry up and get stuff, moving along because we're kind of in a rush this weekend. Behind me here, I went ahead and got pretty much everything to change the oil. I've got engine flush as well. I went ahead and bought the power steering, the actual good fluid that's supposed to go in it, because if you check the cap specifically tells you to use the 7.1, and I know that the 11S was used in it. So I went ahead and got the reservoir drained out by pulling the power steering lines down below, which was already a job itself. Mainly because I pretty much didn't have a tool to take the fan off of there. I even went to AutoZone just now to go get the fan clutch tool there. And sure enough, it didn't really work too well. It was too weak. Also for the fact that me and Levi didn't realize that it was left-hand thread. So the clutch tool... The fan clutch tool did not hold out very well, and it's already pretty much broke. So we're just going to leave that for now. So we're going to leave it for now, and we'll probably just put the fan shroud back on when we're done. We've been using this manual for quite a lot of the stuff in here, but it's kind of hard trying to figure this stuff out on our own.
Have you smelled this stuff?
No.
I like to smell fluids.
Typically, engine flush stinks.
Smells like paint thinner.
Smells like paint thinner.
Basically, something like that.
The other stuff that I went ahead and bought is the fuel filters. As you know from the last video, I mean, those fuel filters look like they're pretty old. So I bought new fuel filters. I went ahead and bought air filters too while I was at it. I wanted to actually just replace them. I don't know how old they are, if they're actually bad or not. I didn't even check yet, but that's something that we're going to do. Also, run the engine flush if we get this done today, and we'll see how it goes. So down here on the bottom side of the car, there's the power steering pump. I got the lines already pulled off of there, as you see. I'm still currently trying to figure out what all bolts I need to take off to get the power steering pump off, because I want to rebuild it. I should have recorded it before I pulled it into the garage, but this thing is just screaming away. Inside the reservoir, it was also foaming up pretty bad, which I don't know if it's pulling in air from this pump or what's going on. So all that 11S is drained out of here, as you see. It's pulling into this pan here. It doesn't even look like it's that dirty either. But I got these lines off of here. Going to try to pull this and hopefully get this thing rebuilt and it stops squealing.
Nick? Who put that there? Comes down and goes to possibly the level control valve or something. There's a valve right here, right beside the reservoir.
Well, is there any way that...
Oh! It's loose. Just give me a second.
Oh, shit! I'm really good. Taking it out of
To release a little pressure?
there. I guess. It's pouring it out down here now. Get that in my face over there.
You didn't want to taste this stuff?
No. I wouldn't taste my fair share of automotive fluid.
You got it's like Pokemon. You got to catch them all.
Alright, so a little update from where we're at. I've got the lines that were in the front of the engine here off. I'm assuming that's what goes back to the self-leveling system. Got those lines off, got all the mounts for the power steering pump off. But the only thing that's holding it on is the one power steering line sitting there at the top, which I cannot get to. So like all the wrenches I have, it will not fit up in there, and it won't drop down because of it. So what Levi did was just trace this line back up, not that one, but the one up above there. He traced that line up, and we took that off up top, and now we're going to see if we can maneuver the line down through here. We'll just take the line out once we get the pump down. Alright, so now we got the pump sitting here on the table, so we're going to attempt to get this thing apart and change all the seals. As you can tell, that's, still the line on there, so we're going to try to take the line off with just using a ratchet without having to use an impact, so we'll see how hard it is. Damn. There goes the water.
Drain bolt 13.
Yeah, that one's got quite a lot of debris on the inside of it. I don't know how well camera can pick up all this stuff. Pretty neat design on how that works though. Something's holding. There's some O-rings. So another big O-ring, and then there's that 2-piece O-ring. Well, now the pump is all assembled as you see. I have this rebuild kit from BMW here. I don't know if you can see the part number there or not, but this comes with all the seals that you need to rebuild this pump. So I'm going to try to get this thing all cleaned up with some brake clean and get it back together. So as you see at the bottom of this picture here, we have a bearing puller that's sitting on the shaft so we can pull off the pulley holder. So whenever we stuck this in the press, we barely even put any press force on it, and it just broke in half. So in order for me to fix this issue, I had to buy a reman pump, which I didn't want to wait for right now. So we just put it back on the car with just 2 bolts, and that's what we're just going to go with for now. So if you're going to use a bearing puller for yours, I suggest not doing that.
Mercedes puts Best Buy dates on stickers. No joke. It has a label on a sticker. Adhesives. Best Buy date.
Okay, I think this thing's finally ready to get back in the car.
A little more broken than it was when it came out, but
Got new seals.
that's fine, yeah.
That's all that matters.
Fresh rebuild.
Fresh rebuild with a little bit of brokenness to it. All right, we're on the back side of the car. Backside. All right, we're on the bottom side of the car again. We're trying to get this power steering line, the one that was up on top, routed first so we can just mount the power steering pump down here without having to push the line up through the car. So once we get that done, I'm going to connect this line back up, get the rest of these hoses connect up, and then get this power steering pump mounted back up. We're going underneath this boot. Oh shit, is that the right line? That must not be the right line. Why is this one dripping all of a sudden? This one shouldn't have any fluid in it. It'll be a little difficult to do it like this, but it's a lot easier than having to send the line up. Come on now. So you can just tighten it up roughly where it's at.
Just look down, your phone's recording me. It fell over.
There's just that bracket that's on the back of it. It's a little sheet metal bracket. And I'm missing the clearance by like a quarter of an inch.
Did you set your phone back up?
I don't know where
That's right where my foot goes.
I don't know where else to put it. What's happening?
Hunter's doing a bunch of work as usual, and we're just kind of sitting around.
Per usual.
Well, I mean, that's what I usually do, so it's not like it's out of character for me. It's Apple, so.
They'll probably make it somehow, but it just won't
Change
work.
spark plugs in this thing.
Yep. I can't get it. I think we might have to just fiddle with that tensioner again because I can't get it. Oh,
And pop it off the tensioner.
crank a little bit.
A lot of the German stuff, you have to put it on the tensioner last or a flat pulley. Because even with the tensioner fully compressed, or like, you know, if it's a spring one, you don't have enough room to get it over the lip of a pulley. It's actually kind of obnoxious.
Well, it slipped off the crank whenever we pulled it down. I pulled it back off. Okay. That should be everything down here. All the lines are on, pulleys on, mounts are on. Everything's double torqued. So should be good. I am afraid of that top line though, because I can only get that done by hand with that wrench. I'm just like pulling, I'm like twisting the pump and trying to turn the wrench at the same time. So that should be everything on the bottom side. Let's get that pump tightened and put some fluid in it, and then we'll have to raise up the rear end to check the level.
Nice, we got it on camera.
Got the squeak too. 200. That means 200 psi, right?
Yeah. You open the cap and you immediately lose your hand, blow a hole through your head.
You gotta do this. You little like stand back and just and it launches to space.
It probably would.
Just use a stick.
God's gonna look at that from the sky and be like, what's that? Oh, cool cap.
It's like, oh shit.
BMW space program. What else do you knock off?
Just that.
You remember breaking shit.
Did you put that jackhammer back on? You did. You get that, I guess. Pull it the other way, see if it'll set the tension on it again.
Well, you don't want to buy new ones?
Huh?
You don't want to buy new ones?
I will, but I need to have the belt on right now. I gotta set the belt the tension right now. The belt's barely even hanging on.
That's fine.
Yeah, this job would be really a lot easier if I had that. Coolant reservoir is almost done. The reason that we were doing this was because this thing was pretty much filled with sludge, which we didn't record, but he went out there and took it under the water spigot and flushed this thing out. It had quite a lot of, I don't even want to say like goop or something like that. It's pretty much what it was. Sludge, I guess. I don't know what from. I'm assuming just from where it's been sitting or something. You have any idea?
I would almost think it was some sort of like radiator sealant, which is kind of scary, but it was like a silvery metallic glitter type of something.
Yeah, let's hope it's not that, yeah. So we're getting that back on. Power steering pump obviously is back on. We got the belt put back on, the tensioner set and tightened back on. Got the fan shroud back on. So now we're going to be filling this thing up with some CHF 7.1. So once we get that on there, it tells in the manual that you have to raise the rear end and check the level with it. So once we start filling it up, we'll probably go ahead and get the car started, I think was what we're supposed to do, then raise the rear end of it, check the level within that reservoir there, and we might just go take it for a little drive. I mean, it does say do an inch below. I think it says do an inch below the lip up here, I think is what it says to do, which I'm assuming the bottom of this is probably about an inch anyways. Raise the rear of the car until the drive wheels are off the ground. Wait 2 minutes and check fluid level. The level should be no more than 25 to 1 inch below. So it sounds like I just need to start it and actually just turn it, and then we'll raise the rear and then double check it to actually get it in the pump. But
I know what's wrong with it.
Ain't got no way of it. Oh yeah, I don't have a gas cap on this. My gas cap was over there. I forgot to put it on. And I noticed it when I was editing that I didn't have a gas cap. I didn't put my gas cap back on.
That's good for it. Oh, hold on.
Did it start leaking or did you?
It went.
The light's dim, but it's not cranking.
You broke it.
I mean, it started and then quit. Oh, that's doing that. Power steering fluid. Maybe it needs to be above that and it falls into it or something.
Sounds like a lot of air.
See if I can try it
Big bubble.
now. So it is some sort of like check.
Does this have an electric pump in it? Because
I don't think so.
it like when you kick the key on, kick the key back off. Yeah, I got fluid. It's flowing right now.
Huh, maybe I just need to unplug the battery after I turn the wheel.
It does something, because when you first kick the key on after it was completely full, there was a big bubble, and then you can see flow.
Huh.
So there's got to be some sort of electric pump or something, I would
Now,
think.
the only thing that I would feel like would be like that would be the brakes. Because the power system brakes. But that shouldn't be electrical. That get some rags ready.
It'll burn off, right?
Yeah, it'll stink. It already stinks enough. I
Didn't do anything, but
I didn't hear any sensors or anything click.
oh, there's a little bit, big bubble.
That's the brakes. That's probably what it is.
We'll do that then. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't do that anymore.
Can't believe we didn't put two and two together. That it's probably
You're the one in there hitting the brakes. I didn't know you hitting the brakes. You ain't got to press the brakes to start it.
You sure you do, don't you?
If it's not push button. This thing ain't motherfucking push button, is it?
No.
No.
Oh shit.
Whew. So will it start?
I would clean a little bit off or get ready for it to pour.
Well, we could just put the lid on. Well, I don't know. We need one of them big syringes. It's going down for good. It went, well, it's back up a little bit, but it's down way further than it was.
Well, this time it didn't say power steering on it.
Big bunch of bubbles.
I'm not touching anything other than key.
That might be suspension.
And
It's brakes. It's like literally a millimeter from overflowing. It's going down, so that's good.
I kind of think it might
Might have low
bad.
voltage.
Yeah. Need that battery. Look at that big boy down there. That one should be
2.7.
2.7?
That's what one of them down there has.
Jesus. Well, with two batteries later and a battery like start aid on there, it actually finally started. We got the rear end lifted up. It's got a little bit of condensation coming out there, but the rear tires are off the ground as it should be. And it actually started now, so we're starting to think that that's probably what it was, is that the rear end was not lifted. But now you can see the fluid in there. It is smoking a little bit. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but that's where we disconnected that reservoir there. So it poured a little bit down there. We're assuming on exhaust because it kind of stinks a little bit. But we're going to let this run a little bit. We turned the steering wheel too to make sure we got this topped off correctly. But so far, there's no power steering noise, and it's pretty easy to steer now. So that's pretty good. All right, so after it's been sitting outside, I mean, it's pouring down the rain now, but we ran the engine flush in it for about 10 to 15 minutes now, so we're going to go ahead and drain the oil, and once we get that, we're going to go try to take it for a drive, see how she does. Probably should have put on a pair of gloves, because this drain bolt's hot.
Yeah, that oil filter housing cap was a little toasty too. About like them damn.
Wait a minute, this thing holds 8 quarts. I don't know if this thing's going to hold enough
That's a
fluid.
9. Those are usually 9-quart things, I think.
Are you saying?
7-quart.
Well, this
Y'all
thing,
can have fun.
it holds 7.8.
Well, better get another container. And quick.
Did you stuff this under there like sideways? Because I don't think you have another one of those, do you? I guess that pan's over there, but
Yeah, just grab another pan.
that'd be a lot easier if you can get that to work.
Fill this up first.
Yeah.
I'll build my core strength and upper body strength. All this damn thing. Honestly, it's not as black as I thought it was going to be. I mean, when it first came out, it wasn't pretty. But that oil right there doesn't look too bad. Just going to go ahead and let that drain out for a good bit, just to make sure it gets all of that out there. I mean, it had the engine flush in it too, which also added on to the capacity for a little bit. So I'm going to let that drain out for a hot minute, let it drip. Put the drain bolt back in, which fell into the pan. Gotta go magnet fishing in here. Well, the oil filter is in there. We got the new one put in. We also got the canister filled up. We got the MOS2, I think that's what it's called, formula in here, which is this kind of gray color to it. That's what the bottle says to do. It definitely looks odd, but that's what the bottle says. So we're gonna get this thing filled up with. That's the oil I'm using there. So get this thing topped up and check for leaks. Well, guys, I was hoping for a happy ending to this video, but that rarely happens with most of the stuff I work on. We took this thing for a test drive. Everything was honestly going flawless. Like no noise whatsoever, power steering pump working flawless. It had a lot of power, obviously. I mean, it's a V12. We went down the road back pretty good. We wanted to try highway and go to the gas station just to see how well it does, and I wanted to fill the tank up because I know it doesn't have much gas. Well, as soon as we pulled out on the highway, I started getting on it a little bit just to get up to speed, but I wanted to see, what it could do, who's not going to do that, Anyways, I started heading down the road, and next thing you know, it didn't want to shift. It was almost like it was wanting to, but it didn't. And I let off the gas, and it kind of clunked real hard and shifted finally, and we all, felt it, but it just kept going. So, I just kept going again. I made it somewhere up to 60, and I was probably going from second to third, and it wouldn't shift. It was holding probably 4.5, 5 grand, wouldn't shift. I finally let off the gas, and again, it shifted really hard. And next thing you know, my check engine light came on, and I lost pretty much all my engine power. I don't know what happened there, but it went in limp mode because I lost all power. So I stopped at a church. We were listening for it, and we could hear the belt squeaking real bad. We didn't know what was squeaking. We assumed the power steering pump because that's what we just worked on. Turned around, came back, trying to go on the highway, and we couldn't go very fast because I'm in limp mode, and I could barely make it up the driveway because it was so steep. So we started looking it over, and we definitely could see that it was smoking out of the engine bay. We're assuming it was because of the belt. We didn't find anything burnt. The belt definitely got chewed up, but it wasn't the belt for the power steering pump. It was the belt for the AC. So when the AC turned on, it was squealing and it was eating the belt. So that was one problem we found, but we don't know what caused the check engine light to come on. We're thinking that maybe the shift solenoids or something like that in the transmission might be broke. The fluid might be gunked up. Well, I haven't changed the transmission fluid or the filters yet. That's what I plan to do next time. But the light, while we were diagnosing it, the light went out. The check engine light went out. Now, I don't know why the light went out. And then next thing you know, the light came back on a couple minutes later. We started revving it, and the light went out. And we were just diagnosing it, and we couldn't figure out what it was. So we could rev it back up now, all of a sudden, with the check engine light on. I have no clue. I don't know why. So we checked the fluids. Everything was fine. We made sure to not turn the AC back on because, the windows were fogging up so bad, as you can see. Like, it's still doing that right now, but I don't have the car on. But we could rev the engine, so we're like, okay, let's try it again. Let's get a little easier on it and see if we can make it down the road. Well, I had a little bit more engine power, but I couldn't go very fast, I guess, is the one I'm trying to get at. So if I wanted to gun on it, the RPMs was just slowly climbing up, but it wasn't as bad as it was when it broke the first time. So we made it down to the church. I could at least hit the speed limit, and next thing you know, the belt started squeaking again, even with the AC off. And I know that belt, I don't know if I had it in the video, but the belt is split in half pretty much. Like, I need to replace that belt. I need to replace the tensioners for it, but I just don't have it right now. I just wanted to go without it. So trying to get out the driveway again, I pretty much barely could. It didn't have enough power to actually go up it like normally. It was struggling. I'm gonna have to get the code reader adapter so I can actually read the code to see what it says is wrong, because physically we can't see anything wrong. Throttle bodies seem to be working. All the connectors are still in place. I don't know what it could be. Obviously, like what I just described, the transmission felt like something was wrong. You know, like I don't know what it could be. Obviously, it's not giving me a code up here on the dash to tell me what's wrong or transmission's wrong, because the power steering fluid told me that something was wrong, but the transmission didn't, so I don't know. The only thing I know that would keep it in limp mode would be the transmission, so I'm going to get one of those adapters for next time I come in to check that and see what it'll tell me is wrong. But I want to change that transmission fluid regardless to see if it's nasty in there or if it's chunks in there, which I hope not, metal shavings. Like, I just want to get all that cleaned up since it's been sitting for so long. I don't know how well this was driven, you know. So until next time, I'm going to be doing a lot of research. I'll be getting a lot of parts in, because I wrote down like a list of things that I noticed today that I need to get. And next time I come in, I'll start putting everything on, try to get everything recorded, update you guys on what's going on, and we'll see where it goes from there. So if you guys would like more videos like this, please subscribe.